Alright, what's going on? I hope I don't sound too sick, because I am. But today I want to talk about DICE. Recently they did a live stream, I believe, and they are backtracking. They are backing down from their stance a bit. Now, I should be happy, right? Because this is what I've been asking for. But it's not. I mean, I've been asking for authenticity, right? I want an authentic World War II story, or not story, but game. I want to feel like I'm playing in World War II, not Fantasyland, right? And what they said is that they're going to tone down the crazy, that's what the word they use, crazy character customization, and they're going to add a more authentic gear. Now, this article basically that's what it says, right? Throughout the article, but the guy, he said that, this is his quote: "We heard the community. We're still looking at World War II through DICE's lens. But how forward, how crazy we got with some of that. We heard the community. We understand there were some concerns about, hey, where's authenticity? We want players to be excited about customizing their characters with authentic gear. We dialed it back a bit. It was pretty crazy. We wanted to offer some authenticity, and that's important to us. That's important to our players." Funny because, let me read you this sentence again. "We wanted to offer some authenticity, and that's important to us, that's important to our players." Now, if you don't understand what I'm saying is, the problem was not with not having authenticity in the game. At some areas it did seem like World War II because of the planes and the tanks and all that stuff, right? Obviously it was World War II, but the characters did not look like World War II, and that was the problem with me. It did not feel like World War II, so it wasn't authentic to World War II. And the problem is not so much going off of World War II. If they had told me this is just a fantasy 1940, 45, 1946, war, right, set 1950, whatever, I would have been completely fine with it. But they threw around the word authentic a lot, and that's where I had the issue with this, because it's not authentic at all. And either you go authentic or you don't go authentic. It's a World War II game. You're supposed to, if you're gonna base it off a historic event, go and do the historic event, or simply just make a fantasy game. But you can't say this is, half and half, because you're betraying the historical events that occurred during, that time frame. We don't, or I personally, I don't want some authenticity. I want authenticity if you're going to give me authenticity. If you're not going to give me authenticity, then that's fine. I can live with that. But don't sell it to me as authentic when it's not authentic at all. But let's continue. This is, his quote: "Nothing is off the table. Again, we'll watch how the community reacts. Maybe we'll try something. The nice thing about the armory is we can put something there, and if it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick. But first and foremost, we want to start with this authenticity approach." And it's not gonna work, man. And I'll tell you why it's not gonna work. The people who wanted authenticity are not buying your game, alright? I myself am not buying your game. I played your game. I don't see myself playing this game for that long. Honestly, I don't. You know, and the issue is you were selling me something. You were selling me authentic World War II experience, and now you're just kind of saying, okay, we'll give you a little bit, for you people to enjoy. But that's not what I wanted at all. Either you go full crazy, or you stick to World War II. I don't want no in between, because that's not for me. But in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna work. The people who want authenticity, real authenticity, they're not going to settle for 50-50. Like I said, either you go full authentic, or you don't. The issue with this game is that they were trying to sell it as authentic, and it's not authentic at all. So I think that was the biggest issue with this game. It's not the women. Nobody cares, alright? The issue with the women was because it was obviously not authentic, and that was the issue, that they were trying to sell it as authentic, and it's not. So I mean, I don't know, man. Guys, you messed up, man. I don't know how you guys are gonna solve this. I think at this point, just, I would say apologize, but I think that's a little too much to ask of you guys. But at least just say, it's set in a fantasy or World War II event or something like that. You can't go in between, because that's not what people want. The people who are asking authenticity don't want 50-50. They want 100, or they don't want it at all. That's why you shouldn't say it's authentic if it's not authentic. But that's enough about that. I just wanted to make this video to I guess explain a little bit more to the people who don't understand what this issue is about. It's not about the having women in games. We don't care about that. We had a woman in Battlefield 1, and honestly, that was my favorite mission throughout the game, because at the end of that, the story, you were able to play this sneaky what's called scenario, right? Where you go around killing everybody, and you're doing it in a quiet manner, and nobody can hear you, right? So I enjoyed that type of gameplay, and I didn't care that it was a woman. I honestly didn't care. But now that they're trying to sell this as authentic, it just really rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know, man. I don't know if you're going to be able to get your customers back at this point. I honestly don't think you will. Most of the people that played this game are saying it's boring. I'd go 60-40, right? I say 60% are saying it's boring, and 40% you have like some fanboys in there, but 40% are saying that it's good, which I disagree completely, and it has nothing to do with politics. It's just, it doesn't feel like Battlefield to me. It feels like COD. But that's it for me. I just wanted to explain, like I said. I'll see you guys next time if you stick around.